Hello, welcome to the Snap UK.
I don't even see what happened there. Why are they laughing?
They're laughing because they shouldn't be laughing.
Oh, just
like
school kids.
No, I'm laughing because he seemed like he shouted.
Yeah. Welcome back, guys. So,
It's a hot start.
yeah, started with me to continue.
With fast.
With Griff just staring at Paul as he tried to deny a shart.
I wanted to see if he'd break. You can't outsmart the shart. Everyone knows that.
So, there's four of us here today. So, Gary's
Left the country.
left the country. He'll be back when the heat dies down. But I'm here with Paul and Griff and Jim. So, yeah.
Mattress fraud.
But yeah.
Don't want to pay a tariff on a mattress, so
Yeah.
got over to get it himself.
Oh dear. Just get a Chinese one. So they're just going to make everything now. So that's really great.
Sell it to everyone. But
People think
USA.
this is odd, right? But in the 17 and 1800s, Great Britain and the British Empire were the workshop of the world, and now it's just China. It just rolls
It just
around
moves
like it's
around.
not.
Yeah.
I don't really see what the. It's not really a big deal. But okay, fine.
It's not a big deal to us. We're not about to pay 125% extra on every product.
No, I'm not. No.
I just like in 200 years' time, there's going to be Chinese sports teams based on those. You know how, like, Luton Town are the Hatters and Northampton Town are the Cobblers? Have, like, the Shanghai mobile phoners.
The chippers.
Yeah.
And the mattress men.
Nice. Very, very good.
So,
Type A textiles.
yeah.
Awesome.
And yeah, the Changqing, what was it? What's that big?
Oh, yeah.
Careful.
Yeah.
Careful.
It's that amazing city that's built on the hill. But yeah, like they're just,
York.
I forget.
I'm glad we've got globalisation in there.
Exactly.
Politics. And
Yeah.
shouting.
But cool.
We've covered all
We
the
won't
main
be-
topics.
we won't-
to start
All
the
the high
show.
points.
We won't be
And we'll see you next week.
we won't be mean though, because people are getting refused entry for their opinions on such things, and I would like to go to the United States at some point.
Me too.
Ideally in 4 years' time.
Yes,
Amy often refuses me entry for opinions.
yeah, but those opinions are disgusting. They're very welcome in Germany, I imagine. Anyway,
Also using Chinese manufactured products.
Get control of this podcast, John. Come on.
no, I'm
completely
I think
gone.
we're 3 minutes in. I think we can try and get at least 12 minutes without we talking anything NFL. But I guess we should probably talk. So let's do the news. Should we start with the contracts? Because they're the people who are still playing. So Geno Smith gets a 2-year deal, $85.5 million. It's about $60 million guaranteed, isn't it?
Is there a 1-year break in it? Forgive me for putting you on the spot.
I mean, yeah,
there.
put him on the spot.
But it seems like
It's sensible money. It's nothing that's going to kill.
It's a
the team.
2-year extension,
Yeah.
so it's 3 years.
Your
You're
laptop.
playing media. Oh, you should know better than that.
So it's the NFL website, and it's
Bloody
It
adverts.
is
Bloody adverts.
We should tell the NFL that their website is useless, especially on a mobile phone. Particularly poor.
it's so
it's
bad
really
on a
bad.
mobile phone.
Just saying. You think they could get that? fixed?
2
Doesn't
year deal.
mention.
No break clause after
Yeah.
a year. But you're right. It's still sensible money, and it's less than what the Seahawks were prepared
Paying.
to pay.
Yeah.
Pay him as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if the relationship at the Seahawks had just deteriorated between him and the coach, and because
I don't think so.
I just think this deal makes. Why would you give Darnold a year at more money when you could have had Geno for at least on?
I think it's an evaluation thing. I think the Seahawks think Geno is limiting their offense, so they want to try someone else.
I'd almost go their offense was limited, so they want to go in a different direction, and that direction doesn't involve Geno, and it didn't involve DK Metcalf. And the whole thing was just like, this offense just isn't very good, which I think is fair. And Lockett's gone now as well as
Lockett's gone. Yeah.
So,
yeah,
the Seahawks coach was bequeathed this set of offensive players,
Nice use of the word.
Yeah, I love that.
right? But now he's proved himself a winner. It feels like the front office have said, right, what would you like? Off you go.
And he
Get
said,
your 5-year
he
plan.
just said something else.
Yeah, something different.
Now, maybe. Now, whether you think Sam Darnold is an upgrade or not, you can debate that.
Viking Sam Darnold was, but Sam Darnold every other year I don't think is, and I'm not a fan of Geno
Panthers
Smith.
Sam Darnold is the same as the Geno you were getting.
No, that's unfair
Don't
to
you?
Geno.
I think that's unfair to Geno.
Geno.
I'm not a big Geno Smith fan, but I think that's unfair to Geno.
I think Panthers Darnold was not looked upon favourably because he wasn't amazing, but he was still way better than he was at the
It's
Jets.
bad Panthers team.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like, as long as they don't end up with Giants Geno, I'd rather have Geno Ginelli.
I think you're all very harsh
The
on
ice
Geno.
cream.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I like Geno.
I think Geno
I
is. I
Really?
think Geno's a high functioning quarterback in this league.
Do you remember when he got his jaw broken by Ike Ikampalo?
Yeah, I do.
And if I've pronounced that properly, it'd be a feckin' miracle.
Yeah.
You said it with confidence, so I'm going to presume you
go with
have.
When was that? 2015?
Yeah, could have been.
Right, so 10 years ago, we were laughing at this guy, and now look at the deal he signed, and he's leading another franchise.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Fair play to him, but
And the Raiders, it's an upgrade for them.
oh yeah, but you're being upgraded for them.
Steady on. 41-year-old immobile, short ball quarterback. It's a rarity.
The thing with Geno is he's very good at playing without an offensive line, which is lucky because he's gone from the team with the worst offensive line to probably the 4th worst offensive line.
Yeah,
So,
and that's actually what worries me in Sam Darnold in
Yeah.
Seattle because he's playing on a team with the worst offensive line, and that's
Yeah.
never boded well for him anywhere else.
yeah, August the 11th, 2015, he was
Smacked in the face.
yeah.
Enik Kapali. I was fairly close, like without looking it up. Whatever happened to him, huh? Who got the last laugh?
Well, if Geno can laugh.
With a broken jaw.
Couldn't for a while.
Yeah, but yeah, I think this is fine.
I like it for everybody. I like the whole thing for everybody.
The more I think about it, the less I like it for the Seahawks.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I think it's great for the Raiders because, like you say, it is an upgrade. It gives them a little bit of stability at the position, brings in someone who's a little bit mature, got a bit of experience, which is something they've not really had at quarterback since they got rid of Carr.
No, they've just been hiring memes.
But,
yeah, exactly.
I like it. I like it for the Seahawks too because Dave Canales is getting his opportunity to stamp himself on the franchise. They'd already maximised what you can. Sorry, McDonald. Mike McDonald. So they've already maximised what you can get out of Geno. You've got to try something else, otherwise you're going to tread water for another year. I like the move for everybody. I think this is one of those rare. There's nobody really loses this.
To be fair, I think the Seahawks take a step back next year.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Agree.
I'm not sure. Not yet.
But they might be better defensively, but I just don't think they're going to.
I don't think they get better any better offensively. They got Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Cooper Kupp.
Has he gone there? Has he?
Yeah.
Well, he's fit.
So for 8 games,
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp.
And
They
Sam
need
Darnold.
they need to draft another wide receiver.
They need to draft an offensive line.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue. Is we know Darnold doesn't thrive without an O-line.
So the running game doesn't thrive out of line either.
But also,
Like
this,
Kenneth Walker, III is decent.
I've missed him.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, but
Well,
he's
even if he's
a
there.
good running back when he's fit and when there is an offensive line to actually do some of the work. But there wasn't last year, so both him and Geno Smith were just up against it.
I did. Well, there were rumours of Kenneth Walker, III, being wanted by.
Yeah,
Raiders.
They wanted them both, in the same trade. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Same move, sorry. Yeah, that's what they wanted.
anyway,
the Las
Trey
Vegas Seahawks.
sorry,
The Las Vegas
Yeah.
Seahawks.
Trey McBride is the highest paid tight end in the league, and I quite frankly I have no issue with this whatsoever. He's absolutely brilliant,
Well, in terms of output, clearly one of the top 5.
and I still think it's cheap. I know he's the most expensive tight end, but compare what he's earning to the wide receiver 2s and 3s in the league, and
he's coming into his prime now. He's 26 years old this year.
yeah, and he's getting better each year.
And also, he's got the longest tenured quarterback in the history of the Cardinals throwing to him.
Really? God, that's
Wow.
mad.
That's depressing, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah. Guess you're right.
So he's
Frightening, isn't it? When you think about it.
It is, yeah. Because it feels like he's only, he's been, 7 years now? 6, 7 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2018.
17.
For the same money as Trey McBride, you could get Christian Kirk or Jerry Jeudy.
2019.
I'm looking up now.
Okay, well, you do that.
Like, yeah,
Yes, 2019, you're right.
2019.
Yeah,
So-
'cause 18 was the Mayfield
That's right.
6.
Yeah.
yeah. The Mayfield 6.
The Mayfield 6.
The worst murder mystery of all time. Very, very different to the Brady 6. The Mayfield 6. I like it.
Trey McBride, yeah, you're right. I still think he's criminally underrated.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
I think it is. Like, it'll be interesting to see in fantasy this year because, basically, the standout tight ends that, like, for years, Kelsey was a number one, first round pick for some people.
You had Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews, right?
Yeah,
And now I think you're moving on from that. And McBride is probably... Cause I don't think anyone's going to take Kelsey very high next year, given everything he did.
well, yeah.
Nothing that he did. Kittle, I still think has got production in him.
Kittle's got some time left. He was your best player last year.
I don't think either of them will be in the first 4 or 5 taken as tight ends this year.
I think Kittle could be. Who are you taking at tight end, apart
Bowers.
from McBride? Who would you take above Kittle?
Bowers, Laporta,
Bowers, fair.
Laporta wasn't great last year.
Yeah.
still all right.
McBride.
That's 3.
I like Dallas Goedert.
Dallas Goedert, yeah.
Any
Eagles tight end,
he
basically.
won't be at the Eagles.
Yeah.
They reckon
that's
he'll
true.
be. They reckon he'll be traded draft day.
Oh, wow.
Also,
Njoku.
I like what Vrabel does with tight ends, and I think Hunter Henry's going to have an up year.
That's a fair point.
But
still be risky.
I can't see. I mean, Kelsey is just on the downhill.
Yeah,
and Kittle
absolutely.
is brittle. Brittle Kittle.
Kittle.
While we're talking about Trey McBride, is this a good point to jump in and say, when are we going to confess that Kyler Murray is massively overrated? Because, he's done nothing. You just said he was drafted in 2019.
I've always been he's overrated.
Sure. But people talk about him like he's this great quarterback. How many playoff wins has he got since 2019?
Been to the playoffs?
He's 0-1.
Kyler Murray is a lucky quarterback.
Sure.
Because his contract came up at a time where there was
a
nothing
dearth.
else doing.
Yeah.
So he's lucky.
He's just a poor Jalen Hurts. Basically.
I quite like him, but
I do not.
I think I don't think he's.
I don't think he's...
If I was to put my top 10 quarterbacks, he wouldn't be.
He's not there.
He's not there. But
is he top 15?
He's league quality.
Yeah, I think he's in the top.
Yeah.
Is he the modern day Dalton line?
No, I think he's better than that.
You reckon?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
I'd say he is the Dalton level.
I'd say that's roughly where he sits. I think he's in the middle.
Actually, to be fair, that's harsh on Dalton.
'cause the
because
Dalton-
Dalton got them to the playoffs every year.
The
7
Dalton
years.
level was
Mediocre quarterback. There's 16
if you
better, there's
have
16
him.
worse.
No, it was not about that. It was about if you have that quarterback, are you looking for your next quarterback? And
the Cardinals should probably be looking for their next
I
quarterback now.
I don't think you look.
I don't think you're going to win many playoff games with Kyler Murray. You're not even qualifying.
You're not even getting there.
That's not just on Kyler Murray though.
No, but he's not driving the franchise forward.
There's
I think
more to that.
I think they were sprightly last year, and actually are part
Sprightly.
of that.
They're not a 92-year-old woman.
Look, in terms of
John thinks they're neat.
Cowabunga.
their team, the squad, Trey McBride and Kyler Murray apart is fucking mid.
Harrison.
Always the bridesmaid, never the McBride.
Nice. If you were to redraft the
Yes, you'd
draft,
take Neighbours above
You'd take
Harrison.
Neighbours.
Yes.
You'd take Thomas.
Yeah.
Knowing what we know now,
Yeah,
you'd take those players above Harrison.
Yeah.
Harrison's fine. He probably will be a very good receiver, but at the moment, it's
Yeah,
show me what
that's
you've done.
fair.
So yeah. I just think it's hard to judge at the moment because
I mean, also, it's hard to judge Harrison as well because the Giants had nothing else. The Jags really didn't have much else to throw to, so they were getting more. The offense at the Cardinals was built on McBride, wasn't it?
yeah. But They've come out and they've said that I think they'll be running Kyler a lot more this year, which generally means injury risk, but that is when he's at his most fun. And I would, once again, go back to fantasy, I'd take a flyer on Kyler Murray.
Yeah, but that's very different from real life.
I know, but
his win-loss record is just not impressive with the Cardinals. That's not all on him. No.
It's not a fucking stat that matters.
No, winning is a stat.
It matters.
I think winning is a stat.
But in 6 seasons, he just hasn't done enough.
I think the really great quarterbacks find a way to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not.
Yeah, and he's not. That's what I mean.
You should always be looking for the next good quarterback.
I don't think there's... Fair enough, they've not won a playoff game with him. They've not been to many playoffs. I don't even remember them competing to get into many playoffs. How many times have the Cardinals been on the bubble when it comes to that playoff run over the last 6-7 years?
Twice. And they made it in once and they didn't the other. But think about, before he went there, they had Carson Palmer, who got injured every year, but also dragged them to the playoff in, 3 out of 4 years?
Before he went there, they had Josh Rosen.
And, yeah.
Oh, God.
But, effectively, Kyler Murray is a downgrade from Carson Palmer.
Yes.
Who was an old, injured man by the time he got there. And I know it's not just about one player, but every year I get more annoyed that he's just allowed a free pass because he looks exciting. Just winds me up. Don't think he's that good.
I'm in agreement with Griff on
this. You can just compare Palmer's situation with Murray's. It doesn't compete. Palmer had Bruce Arians. He had
Larry Fitzgerald.
He had David Johnson. He had a functioning O-line. He had players. Kyler Murray.
But he also had no knees. Kyler Murray's supposed to be this out-and-out offensive weapon, and he just isn't. He just isn't that good.
I think you're fucking arshing him.
Don't beat up on the little guy.
Yeah, you should be supporting your short
king.
king.
I can beat up on.
You should be supporting your short king.
Who's the backup to Kyler Murray?
McSorley? Was it Trace McSorley? It was at one point.
Jacoby Brissett.
You need somebody
Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett.
Apparently, according to ESPN.
Who you'll be seeing some of this year, no doubt.
And third on the depth chart is the world-famous Clayton Tune.
Clayton Tune. Oh,
that's it, yeah.
I think you need somebody who's going to put their neck on the line. So I'd recommend Mike Glennon.
That's
a hell of a thing to put on the line, isn't it?
Hell of a neck.
So, staying with quarterbacks, as we seem to have gone on to that, Joe Milton has gone to the Cowboys.
For a fifth rounder?
Fifth rounder pick. Apparently, they were offered more, but they let Joe Milton pick. And he wanted to go to the Cowboys.
Yeah, it feels like... I don't know. I don't overly understand it, other than I think it was made very clear to him by Mike Vrabel, we're going to pick a quarterback in the draft, because he always takes a quarterback in the draft.
They got Brian Hoyer, haven't they?
Probably. But I think they've told him we're going to pick somebody 4th, 5th round.
They've got somebody.
As a developer. Yeah, Josh Dobbs.
That's it, yeah.
And we've signed Josh Dobbs, who's going to be number 2. Yeah. So you're going to languish, whereas the Cowboys didn't have a number 2 because they let Cooper Rush go.
And Dak has got
Dak's got a history. So I think Joe Milton...
Trey Lance as well.
Yeah. And I think Joe Milton's been fairly wise in picking a team where he knows he's probably going to get a couple of starts this year, and where you get a lot of hype and a lot of coverage, news coverage.
Got a decent wide receiver to throw to as well.
So I think he's been pretty wise. I think the Patriots have done the right thing by letting him pick. I think they've probably been ripped off by a round. I think it should have been at least a 4th. But whatever. It's not like there's anything on tape.
What round did they draft him in?
6th.
Yeah, he's played one game against a load of backups.
Absolutely.
And he's played very well, Paul. Don't look at me like that.
Yeah. I agree. There's nothing on tape.
But against a load of backups.
But I think it was just fairly evident that Vrabel wants to develop his own people in the quarterback room, and
a
that didn't fit.
5th round pick for Joe Milton and a 7th round pick.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, and I really hope he plays a couple of games and does well, because it's quite exciting. Whether there was enough there for anybody to say he's actually as good as the hype, no, I don't think so.
But apparently there were. I've just read a report that according to Florio, there were character issues, and Milton sees himself as a starter, So Vrabel wants him out the building because Drake May is obviously the starter.
I would think that must happen with a lot of people who come out of college. They've always been the starter. So perhaps it's disruptive. Perhaps it just doesn't work. But
you've also got an air of confidence about yourself. You've got. I don't think you can go into pre-season thinking, "Well, I'm just going to play for the second."
Yeah, I'm going to sit on the bench.
Yeah,
Clipboard Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you see yourself? Next to you, coach.
Yeah.
No, but I like it. Like Josh Dobbs, he had one or half a season of being everyone's darling.
Not even that.
But basically, he's a journeyman backup
Yeah.
who learns offenses really quickly. I think that's a really smart move, and I like what we've done with that. Like I say, it's the right move for everybody, I think.
Yeah. Let's see what.
Till Drake May gets injured week 1. And then it's a horrendous move.
It's fine. He's just taking back from the Cowboys. He'll be pissed off by then. So bad news for a quarterback here. Teron Armstead is retired. So
Tua. Was it Tua?
Yeah.
Tua's right side has just got a little bit more fragile, which for a left-handed quarterback, of course,
It's his blind side.
that's his blind side.
That's exactly what you need for the concussion.
The concussion king.
All this does is further my chant that you're going to see a lot of Zach Wilson this year. When Tua is laid out on the floor and they're marching Zach Wilson out onto the field.
I don't disagree with you.
No.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like, this is a guy with probably the biggest injury history in the league at the moment.
Don't forget, halfway through last season, we were thinking Tua's retired.
Retiring, yeah.
You thought that.
All right, I thought Tua probably wasn't coming back.
I think, yeah, it's fair to say, and it's also fair to say there was a lot of media hype about that as well. A lot of people think, even if he wasn't forced into retirement, that he should consider retirement. And I still think it's a fair shout. Given it,
As of right now, today, while we're talking about this particular division, are the Patriots now level pegging with the Dolphins for second place behind the Bills in this division? Have they taken that jump and the Dolphins have taken that fall?
I'm interested to
Bills,
see.
Jets, Pats.
shut up.
Jets.
I think their squad is better than both the Pats and the Dolphins.
I respectfully disagree.
I disrespectfully disagree. You're talking out of your... Can you just turn round so we can hear you unmuffled?
Okay, well, who's got the best wide receiver? Is it Garrett Wilson or is it Stephon Diggs' working leg?
It's probably Garrett Wilson.
Who's got the best cornerback?
Us.
Sauce Gardner.
Just God knows had like less interceptions than Aiden Hutchinson.
Christian Gonzalez.
Okay, yeah.
Christian Gonzalez, maybe, yeah. But the back, I think the
Best
the
running
Jets,
back. Us.
Behave.
Negligible.
Behave.
I'd say it's us.
Who's got like?
Best head coach. Us.
Best defensive line.
Well, it's too hard to. It's too early to judge. But I think the Jets, on paper, I think are above you.
As of right now, if the Jets win 5 games, I'll be stunned because I think Aaron Glenn's going to be rubbish.
but I'd also be. Can I also point out? I'd also be stunned if you won 5 games.
This feels like.
No. I think we're
that's
8-9 this year.
Yeah.
I feel this is a gentleman's agreement brewing.
Yeah, I do as well.
So what's the punishment going to be,
Hey, what's the
gentlemen?
over and under?
No, hang on.
Should we say 6?
We'll wait till the draft. We'll play it
Absolutely
Let's
not.
No, I thought we
no.
should do this now.
Right
properly.
now.
I'm not doing it right now. No.
You
Six-
said the
6.5.
Jets won't win 5 games. You said the Pats won't win 5 games. They are.
There's no way the Patriots don't win at least 5 games. That's just.
All right.
But I think heads need to cool. Everyone needs to see the draft, and then we'll do this properly because
No.
I
disagree.
appreciate.
Right now.
I disrespectfully disagree.
I understand
you both
John's
put your-
opinion, but
You've both put your stools out there. I think you've got to back
yeah,
it.
but you're making this sound
I'm
like
happy
it's a
back
one-on-one, whereas you guys have both gone, yeah, no, what, no, like that's mental.
I disagree with both of you. This is why I want to see the bet happen.
Who do you say is
Number 2.
Dolphins number 2?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah,
Taking it back to your reasoning, who's
Yeah.
got the best cornerback?
yeah,
Probably the Dolphins, Jalen Ramsey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who's got the best wide receiver?
The
Tyler
Dolphins.
Hill.
Probably the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill.
Who's got the second best? Was it the Dolphins?
Jalen Waddle, yeah.
Yeah, but they've got a quarterback who can't stay
Okay,
fit.
but who's gonna? They've got no. They're losing the people on the line. The defense is bad.
Tyreek, I don't think really wants to be there.
No, Tyreek. If he can, And I think it's time he pushes for a trade.
And I think McDaniel is slowly losing the locker room. I really do.
That I agree with. And I think he should have got rid of Tyreek so he could win back.
But I think the Dolphins' window to climb massively above the Jets and the Patriots has closed. I think they're now that group is tight, and the Bills are clearly still the best team, but the gap isn't what it was 2 or 3 years ago. I think the division, this could be one of the best divisions.
Yeah, you can make arguments for all 3 of those teams finishing second.
But we always say this every year with this division, where this could be a division that makes a difference, and one team absolutely shits on the other.
It's usually the Jets.
Yeah,
or just shits the bed.
Yeah, there's just
Jets the bed.
Either the Patriots or the Bills for the last 30 years have shat on this division.
Yeah.
Let's not fool things.
Well, no, the Jets had 2 years there where they were good. 2009, 2010.
The Mark Sanchez.
The Mark Sanchez years.
And that one Fitzgerald where they were feisty.
Fitzmagic. Yeah. Well, they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. Still didn't win the division.
they got close to the playoffs, so then with one game to go, Fitzmagic lost his mind and did 3-5 picks.
I miss him so much. I really do.
I hope he gets picked in the Hall of Good this year, because we brought this in because we love Fitzmagic. And then we haven't fucking picked him. No one's nominated. I think we're all scared to nominate him.
Yeah, because we just play to judges. It's all politics and bullshit. It's like the Hall of Fame.
It's just like the Hall of Fame.
Well, maybe we could just consensus put him in as an alumni. Just say putting him in.
No, I'm not having any corruption again. If he goes in fairly.
The Ryan Fitzpatrick Hall of Fame.
Or unfairly, is it?
I'm getting rid of the Blatters and the Platinis out of the Hall of Good this year, honestly.
So who's got Miami in our mock draft? Me.
Yeah.
I think they should be looking for tackles.
I was going to say the O-line requires some building there,
but they need gap. They have gaps everywhere. Quite frankly,
a lot of holes to fill.
Bit like my CV.
We'll talk about some backup quarterbacks because we seem to be talking about quarterback. Trey Lance got signed by the Chargers. Yeah.
Look, I don't
Case
mind
Keenum
it.
got signed by the
he
Bears.
needs as much experience and learning from good coaches as possible. Let's be honest, it's probably not going to happen.
No.
But he's still so young and so inexperienced that someone might unlock something.
But he's gone to the best coach in the league, some people say. He was drafted there. No. When he was drafted.
Oh, when he was drafted, yeah.
He's then gone to play under a Super Bowl winning coach.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's coaching. I don't think Harbaugh's going to make much of a difference.
But he hasn't had that much opportunity to play.
No.
What's he got? He's got
7 starts.
If that.
If I ask you the question, if he was that good, he'd have started.
He just hasn't got the experience. He was overdrafted. He probably should never have declared for that draft.
True. Both accounts.
So he's played in a total of 12 games, but he's only started 2.
I have to remember that was his both. I think was that his first and last game.
I think
so far.
Yeah.
There's the wet game.
Yeah, the Chicago one.
The wet game
where he was appalling, but it was appalling.
It was on DVD.
And then he started the last game for the Cowboys, didn't he? Yeah. Because they didn't want to pay Cooper Rush $500,000.
That was hilarious.
Which
what
Didn't
chances?
the wet game have Cowboys in it as well?
Given that he is
Didn't have Jerry Jones in it. That was weird.
Ignoring perhaps the lack of quarterback
elitism
in him, but given he is a good athlete, he can run the ball.
Yeah.
What chances of Harbaugh using him in a
Some
Taysom Hill type package? Because I think that if I was him, that's what I'd be looking to do. Because all right, he's past the point now where anyone I think is going to use him as a serious option as a quarterback. They're right. Well, I could just be an option for you, an option quarterback. Taysom Hill. Maybe I'll play a bit of tight end. Maybe I'll play a bit of the wildcat running back type quarterback type position. I mean that's I think his best opportunity for a career in the league moving forward.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah, fair enough. And Case Keenum got signed by the Bears.
No one cares
Because
I actually think that's smart in terms of it's
the same.
Caleb needs a mentor.
Yeah, it's the same as Josh Jobs going to the Patriots. You need
Dalton at
the Panthers. Yeah, I don't mind it at all.
So Jack Jones got released by the Raiders.
Something about that guy
Yeah.
just doesn't quite work, does
He
it?
just got there.
Yeah.
He was there last year, wasn't he?
Yeah. Not a bad player. Just
He'll get picked up again, but it's how many more chances do you get?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the Raiders need to get rid of all those players.
Pete Carroll is gonna do that.
Yeah, get rid of all the players that are going to be cancerous in the locker room.
Yeah.
That was
It's all right. He's been released. Don't worry. Don't worry.
The podcast dog is kicking
Podcast
off.
And we're going to keep.
Big Raiders fan.
Yeah, we're going to keep with the Joneses here. Julio Jones has retired after
you
13
should go
years.
from one extreme to the other.
But this is one of those sort of waypoint things because for a large chunk of my NFL watching time, Julio Jones was the top or in the top 3 wide receivers every year.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
whilst Odell Beckham flashed for a couple of years, or AJ Green might have been the best for a season, Julio was always there and was amazing. And it's sad. Like, he should never have gone to the Titans. That he should have just retired. But you don't talk about that. But as a Falcon, it was incredible. We used to bemoan the fact that if you selected him in fantasy, you were going to get 1,200 yards but only 6 touchdowns. But think
There's
about
only a
how,
few seasons.
but think about how incredible he was. The contested catches that he made.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy who was in double coverage
Yeah.
every snap for about 5 years.
When he joined the Titans, he was on 96 yards a game. That was his average.
Yeah.
The person second in the list at the time was on 64. Yeah, that's how far. He still finished with 82.5 yards per game because he was incredible. There's a great footage of Larry Fitzgerald talking to Kyler and just basically saying, like, just watch them. And like Larry Fitzgerald is saying, this guy is the best in the game. And that's Larry Fitzgerald. I'll take his opinion, quite frankly.
Let's not forget as well, the Falcons, they traded up in the first round, but they also gave up another first-round pick the following year to the Browns to trade up to get him. And even now, that's a lot for any player.
And who did the Browns use those picks on?
Oh, I can't remember.
Some absolute no names.
Absolute tosh. That's a lot to give up for any player, but it's an incredible amount to give up for a wide receiver. And fair play to them, they went and got him when they also had, Roddy White was also there as a mentor.
Great
That 1-2, and Gonzalez as well.
Yeah.
But the thing, I never knew his full name was Quintoris Lopez Julio Jones.
No, I didn't.
I did not either.
But also, when we talk about Hall of Fame, we talk about players that are dominant in their position. He, for me, was dominant in his position. I don't think he was always top 3 wide receiver in the league from the moment he entered the draft up until he left to go to Tennessee.
So the Browns selected, with the picks, the compensation they received, Julio Jones, they selected defensive tackle Phil Taylor.
The darts player.
Yep, that might as well have been.
Powerful.
Wide receiver Greg Little. And fullback Owen Marisic.
Fullback? Fucking hell.
There must have been someone else as well, sure.
No.
They got 2 first-round picks for him.
Wow.
They muffed that as well, didn't they?
So, would you like to guess who the career yards per game leaders are?
Rice.
So I want the top 5 because Julio Jones is 5th. So that I'm giving you who are above him.
Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson, 86.1.
Jerry Rice.
No.
Andre Johnson.
No.
Hopkins, DeAndre Hopkins.
2 of them are still active. 1 of them's recently retired.
Mike Evans.
AJ Green.
Nope.
Deshaun Jackson.
Nope.
Wow.
Who are the 2 best receivers in football right now?
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase, 87.5.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, 96.5.
Wow.
There, so 96 is Justin Jefferson number 1, Jamar Chase number 2, Megatron 3. There is another bloke between Calvin Johnson and Julio Jones.
Give us an era.
Randy
Moss.
To the 2010s.
Moss.
No.
Not Larry Fitzgerald.
Nope.
Gronkowski.
Nope.
It's wide receivers only.
Worth a shout.
Well, no, I don't know. I'm asking you.
No. It's there was.
I mean, let's.
Tyreek Hill.
Which division? Not like what's he? What? Give
he
me
was in
some
the
clues.
AFC North.
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown, 84.2.
I mean, what a nut job of a player he was, though.
Number 6, Michael Thomas,
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me
doesn't
at all.
shock
ahead
yeah.
of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Michael Thomas had those couple of seasons where he had like
It was unplayable.
5,000 receptions.
Unplayable.
yeah.
So Julio finishes with 914 receptions, 13,703 yards, and 66 touchdowns. So he has the 16th highest yardage rating of NFL history. And 848 catches, 12,896 yards are Falcons franchise records, both just ahead of the aforementioned Roddy White. Like, dominant is the right word.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
7 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros, 3 second-team All-Pros, twice the NFL receiving yards leader, and was in the NFL 2010s All-Decade.
And if you ever want to watch something, just go and watch the Super Bowl that they lost. But watch the first half where Julio just destroyed the Patriots.
He had that ability, he had that physique as well to absolutely, and pace as well. Fucking brilliant.
If you can, there's a game against the Panthers where he gets 300 yards. 12 catches, 300 yards, and effectively it's just one of the most exciting games.
Matt Ryan to Julio Jones was always incredible.
Yeah.
Like, don't forget Matt Ryan was on the other end of that. But those two,
That's equivalent of like Stafford to Johnson.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Up there with that, isn't it?
And like this is a good this is a year after
The Luke Kuechly.
this is Luke Kuechly,
Yeah.
Norman. Like it's a good
Panthers team.
team.
Not just the shit.
I mean, also Matt Ryan, because of the way he kind of flamed out, doesn't get enough credit. I think.
No, I agree.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me whose record he beat in that game for most yards in a game? It was Julio Jones. 259 against Green Bay Packers. So
Mad, isn't it?
that's the franchise record even. But yeah, it's just a astounding game to watch if you ever get a chance. He's brilliant. And actually, yeah, I think sort of it's been sad, not sad, but it's been sad to see him sort of go through the Titans and the Eagles bit.
Take the money, man.
But
Just take the money.
You know what his nickname was in high school? Waffle House, because he was always open.
Always open. Yeah.
Nice. Should we take a break and come back and do some draft chat?
Sounds like the perfect time.
Okay, welcome back. So the draft is 2 weeks tomorrow, which we've just worked out, using math and
Calendar.
yeah, calendar. And we should probably mention it really because we've sort of mentioned it in passing for the last few episodes and then never really discussed it. So
It's one of the many things I like to talk about when I'm passing.
odd, yes. No comeback.
There is no comeback.
You two nodding at each other like Dragnet
Yeah.
makes great podcast.
What's Dragnet?
Dun dun dun
Ah.
dun dun dun. Yeah.
Right, okay.
But yeah, they used to nod to each other. Nice.
Go on then.
A nice reference for the kids of the
Yeah.
1950s
Yeah,
TV
Jesus.
show. So we should probably talk about. Let's talk about some of the prospects. We've got the mock draft in a couple of weeks to go, but where we
Best episode of the season.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I spend weeks planning chaos.
Joe
Run draft.
Milton.
Yeah.
Will Greer.
Will Greer, yeah.
What was that? Kareem Butler?
Hakeem
Hakeem
Butler.
Yeah.
Kiki Kuti?
Kiki Kuti was my favourite. Kiki Kuti and Will Greer.
Kiki Kuti actually has some production in the league.
Yeah.
Unlike,
And who was the tight end you picked?
oh, yeah.
Jelani Woods.
That's it,
Jelani
yeah.
Woods.
He was good for a game or two.
In fact, I think I think he's all right, but he's just been injured for 2 years, which isn't great.
I mean,
Will Greer still with the Cowboys. Just saying.
Did take Michael Gallup in the first round
Yep.
as well. I remember that one thinking that's a shrewd pick.
Actually, if you look back
And
over the
Hakeem
years, I've done
Butler.
all right.
Hakeem Butler doing very well for the St. Louis Battlehawks.
I was going to say he's in the AAF or whatever
He's
it's called.
back for a third stint
USFL.
in the
Have you watched any
UFL.
of that?
No, I haven't. Actually.
I've tried. It's not. The product is very poor. Like, I liked it when it was the AAF and the XFL. The product looked good. This is like combining the worst bits of both of those. It's really sad to see massive football games played in front of empty stadiums.
Yeah.
There's like 100 people there.
Yeah. Hakeem Butler was the UFL Offensive Player of the Year last year.
And not one NFL team gave him a look. What does that tell
Well,
you?
he went got signed by the Bengals and got let go.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's not like he actually got anything out of it.
No.
Same because the guy's huge.
We'll move back to the draft in a second, but the NFL does need a sort of feeder league, right? Like, a lot of players just disappear because there's nowhere for them to go.
Well, also, you see the success that it's had in the US for things like the G League in basketball has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Been great. And obviously, you've got the minors and the AAA, AA, double Ds, whatever that is in baseball. But yeah, there's a clear farm system. It just, you are right. It's weird. Football doesn't have that.
Double Ds presumably don't get much past first base.
Wow.
That's the only baseball reference I've got.
Well, your 2023 mock draft was pretty decent, you know.
Really?
Yeah. So your second pick was Texans. You took Will Anderson.
Correct.
Good call.
D-boy.
You then had the Raiders for the 7th pick. Took Christian Gonzalez.
2 for 2.
12th pick with the Texans, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, give you that.
13th pick for the Packers, Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, give you that.
21st pick for the Bucks, you took Will Levis.
I mean, we'll give it to you because he was a first round pick, but
He was a second round pick.
was he a second round pick? Yeah, but
It was like 33rd.
Yeah, he literally.
sure.
28th with the Bengals, you took Brian Branch.
Great player.
Yeah. And 31st with the Chiefs, because Miami didn't have a pick that year, you took Jordan Addison.
I mean, you did pretty well.
That's
yeah,
a good draft. That's a good draft.
If I remember, Joe Milton wasn't his only reach last year.
I haven't got last year's noted down. I need to go
Chris
back and listen
Braswell.
to it. Yeah.
Is it Chris Bradwell?
Braswell.
Old Brazza.
How's he doing?
I mean, not great.
To the Bucks, I think.
Oh, you did take Malik Willis with the 6th overall pick in 2022. That's not turned out well.
Yeah, but that isn't any worse than what happens in real life.
I just really love quick black quarterbacks.
Oh, Traylon Burks for the Steelers.
He's at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He's suggesting you have a type.
I do.
I've met
Anyway.
Claire. That's not what she's like.
Here's your real fuck up. In 2021, you took Carl Pitts for the Falcons.
That was nailed on.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
Our draft.
Let's
Well, the draft.
Jim's going to walk us through because he has
Am
the
I?
most knowledge.
Okay.
But let's get the quarterback thing out of the way first.
Yeah.
Anyone you listen to, and people listen to lots of things, they will tell you there's 2 at most first round graded quarterbacks in this draft.
I would argue there's 1 first-round graded quarterback,
I would agree.
but 2 will probably go in the first round.
I think it could even be more.
I think it should be 3.
There's rumours about what some of them, isn't there? So
Yeah. Jackson Dart, I think, is the third one that we talk about. So Cam Ward is nailed onto the Titans.
Yeah.
I think that's just to give every mock draft you look at, Cam Ward to Titans. It's a done deal.
How much better than Will Levis is he?
Oh, I think he's better than Will Levis.
Yeah, but how much better? Because,
I think he's an NFL starter, whereas I don't think Will Levis is.
like I said at the start of this, if I was the Titans, I'd be furious that this is the year I need to take a quarterback again.
Absolutely. I don't think Cam Ward is better than any of the top 3 quarterbacks taken last year.
I think it's just because they're number 1 overall.
Yeah.
I think if they were 7th or 8th, they wouldn't be taking a quarterback.
I also don't think it would be as problematic for them to take Cam Ward number 8 as it is to take him at number 1.
But I also don't think you don't take a quarterback if you're in the first spot if your starting quarterback is Will Levis because he's no good. I'm sorry.
I agree.
He's no good.
It's fair.
And Cam Ward is better than Will Levis. Shadur Sanders is the one there's just a lot of conjecture with. One week people have got him at number 2 overall to the Browns, and the next week he's falling down to the Steelers. Like, it's all over the place. I think he's a very good pocket passer. He's accurate. He's great touch of the ball. His pocket presence isn't great. He will get sacked a lot. A lot of his accuracy comes from throwing a lot of screen passes. So you have to build that into a
Question.
Yep.
Because you're more likely to know the answer. Do you remember when Johnny Manziel came out of the draft and there was lots of upside and lots of bad? And one of the knocks was, well, Mike Evans is making him look good.
Yeah,
is Travis Hunter making Shedeur Sanders look good?
Extent. Yeah.
Because I think he's as hard to rate as Johnny Manziel. Now, the character concerns aren't the same.
No, nowhere near.
But I didn't know then with Johnny Manziel whether the positive would outweigh the negative, and I can't tell with Shedeur. I just don't know.
I think in Manziel's case, I think there was a lot more to dislike than there was to like.
Okay.
And even at the time, it was like, all right, there's things that went against Manziel in terms of his height, in terms of his off the field demeanor, everything that comes with getting suspended, all the rumours about making money off of autographs, which all ended up being true. Just the general attitude and the general gravitas isn't the right word because that implies it's positive, but his demeanour, I think it wasn't right for the Browns, and I don't think it was right for many franchises. Might have got away with it in Dallas. Shedeur, he does come with baggage in the fact that he's Deion Sanders' son. He didn't do very well by all accounts at the combine when it came to interviews. He did come across as quite brash, as quite arrogant.
He's a Sanders.
Yeah, exactly. But to be fair, he can throw the ball. He's a good quarterback.
So then the second part of my question is, does he need a Pat Mahomes / Jordan Love style sit behind someone for a year and learn how to be the NFL leader?
If his ego can take it.
Because I think he could slip to someone like the Saints or the Steelers if they've got Rodgers and sit behind a veteran for a year.
If the Steelers got Rodgers and they're able to, if he fell to them, I think they'd have to make a move up the board.
I don't think the Browns or the Giants are going to take him 2 or 3.
I
just think you cannot pass over the better prospects.
I think it's a really bad year to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah, it is. Because no one wants to trade up to it.
No
one. I don't think anyone's going to trade up to Sanders. If he falls to them, if he falls to the Saints or he falls to the Steelers, I think both those organisations will be happy to take him. But I don't think either will go, let's give up a first-round pick next year to go up and get him.
No, I don't think so.
I think also the Giants have made it so clear that they're going in a different direction.
Yeah, the Giants will just take a quarterback in round 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Which is
and I think that, if Jackson Dart does make it to 2 and you got Tyler Shuck,
yes,
Yeah.
Tyler
Shuck.
Shuck, yeah.
And Jalen Milroe there, who's got, again...
Shuck's the one
wonderful.
who's 26.
He
will be 26.
Yeah.
He was in the same high school recruitment as Penei Sewell, who was on his second contract, Brock Purdy, and his first year at college was the same year as Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, who are both...
The thing with him, though, is he is a bit Bo Nix-esque in that he has played a ton of games. And so...
He hasn't, though. He's played a bit, but he's only had one proper year starting.
Yeah.
So he's moved around a lot.
Yeah.
So he's got more than other people, but for someone his age, you're going on traits.
He started 32 games. He's played 42 games.
Okay, 42 was what I'd looked at.
But it's I still think his traits are good, and but I think the whole quarterback class this year gives me just a lot of...
See, Jackson Dart, I can see could be a massive risk, but he could also be almost Josh Allen-esque in that the ball propulsion down the field is crazy.
Yeah.
And when Allen was coming out, people were like, well, he gets picked off a lot and he just plays hero ball. And I think with the right coaching, Jackson Dart has a massive upside, like a huge upside.
The thing I like about Jackson Dart, looking at his stats, he's a 3-year starter, which I think is always a massive benefit. But each year, his completion percentage gets better. So 2022, 62%, 2023, 65%, and 2024, 69%. He's completing almost 70% of his passes. 29 touchdowns to six interceptions. So every year he's getting that, and that says to me that yes, he is coachable.
Yeah, there's growth all the time.
Absolutely.
Very, very mobile as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like I've seen Cam Ward described as a taller, slower Murray.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray. Jackson Dart, a bit more mobile.
Do you know what? Taller, slower Kyler Murray, I can get on board with.
Yeah, fine.
Because if you have got the stature, and you can throw it like Kyler Murray, 'cause it's not like as much as we dissed Kyler Murray earlier, he can fling a ball.
Yeah. Milrow. So there's a lot.
Paul likes him.
There's a lot of.
I think he's great.
A lot of chat currently about Milrow. Almost to the point where people are going, well, who's better, Milrow or Sanders? And I think it's Sanders because, he's the calmness, the confidence that Sanders has. But I think Milrow might, in the long run, might be a better prospect. If he can get the right situation where he's able to...
He really does need that right situation.
He's raw, isn't he?
Yeah.
So do you know who he reminds me of? And this will show my weakness in draft evaluation. But do you remember Cardale Jones? No, exactly. Cardale Jones won a national title in college. He was one of 3 quarterbacks at... I wanted to say Alabama, but it wasn't.
Oklahoma?
I can't remember. I'll find out who that was in a minute. And he ended up, I think, at the Bills ultimately as a backup. I think he was at the Chargers as well. But he was look at him. He has a massive arm. He has all this running talent. Like, he's a big-bodied guy. We can coach him to be better. And they couldn't. He was the guy who was interviewed at college back in like 2013 to 2014 and was like, yeah, I don't come to college for grades. I come to college to play football. Like, who cares what class I go to? Now, Milrow might not be like that, but the physical traits remind me of him, and people thought he could be coached into being more than he really was. And it's not that easy. Otherwise, all these developmental prospects would be coachable to be like that. So
I feel like he's got the traits. For him, I think it's more nailing the mental side of the game. Like, I don't think he's good at reading the game. He can't go through his progression. Yeah,
I've seen him compared to Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, and that's probably a good comparison.
Ohio
Not
State,
quite as fast.
Yeah,
it was Ohio State.
Cardale Jones, no, said it.
Yeah, was it Braxton Miller and there was someone else? There were 3 quarterbacks they went through the year they won the title, and he was like the one that ended up with all the glory, but it didn't really work.
So, Will Howard is someone I'd wanted to get an opinion from you, Jim, because he just won the college football championship.
Yeah, that's always good. But have you seen a team that he won it with? But the wide receivers there are just brilliant. He was a transfer into Ohio from Kansas State. He did pretty well. His stats last year are brilliant.
Why is that a problem for him when like Justin Fields was throwing to Olave and all these great receivers?
I was looking for it earlier because I saw it and then scrolled past it. Someone, a pretty well-to-do commentator on the draft, was doing it. No, it was John Gruden. Think what you want about John Gruden. He does know football. He was comparing Will Howard to Josh Allen. Why aren't more people comparing him to Josh Allen? 6'4", 230 pounds. His accuracy is better. He's that type of player, but he does need he needs a bit more coaching. Josh Allen came into the league very raw, like couldn't really. His accuracy was terrible.
He had to come in and play because it was the Bills.
Yeah, but his mechanics were bad.
But there's 3 or 4 quarterbacks in this draft that need a year to sit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's okay. But why have they all declared for the draft? Like Quinn Ewers is another one. Like what?
There's some older players though.
Did it.
Why?
I can understand why Quinn Ewers, because he was going to be beaten out of the starting job.
Then go somewhere else. The transfer portal is there.
He's already been to free transfer portal. It doesn't look great going to a third team. So I understand why he did that. But yeah, it hurt. This year's hurt Quinn Ewers because he was on track to being one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Had a down year. Arch Manning comes in, makes Texas look even better, and suddenly Quinn Ewers is knows he's going to be out in the cold and knows that Texas want to start Arch Manning next year. Rightly so.
The thing with like Quinn Ewers and Howard, and then there's
going to be day 2 pickups, if not day 3.
Day two, day three, yeah. The pocket presence isn't there, and that's generally what kills these quarterbacks. It's the difference between the college and the pro game is he doesn't have people like Myles Garrett and breathing down his neck. There's no
They might play a Nick Bosa once in a season, whereas in the NFL they're playing
every game,
every single game.
Some teams have 2.
Absolutely.
It's just a different thing. So
move away. Go
on. Should we talk about Ashton Janty quite quickly? He's fun. Squat, like he's 5'9", short king again. But
I really like the
his when get the ball in his hands, but also like catching. I don't like as a prospect. His like ability to catch the ball is unlike anything I've seen from a running back in quite a while. So, like, it gives you sort of LaDainian Tomlinson vibes, which is horrible because live up to that, mate.
I've seen two comparisons. One, New York Times said he's like LaDainian Tomlinson. I think that's a good one. And then the PFF draft.
That was Alvin Kamara, wasn't it?
Alvin Kamara,
yeah.
Somebody is getting the rare, definitely worth it first round running back with this guy.
He should have won the Heisman.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a bit of a crime that he didn't, in my opinion.
Well, he sort of had a slow end to the year, didn't he? Like a comparative, but he was playing with injuries.
He's also not. He's playing at Boise State, which isn't one of the top programs, and he's having to do everything at there. He was their offense.
Yeah. But even then, even playing with injuries, it's not like it had much of an effect on his actual stats. Like it's still incredible stuff. So he could be a franchise changer for if he goes to a good team.
Best running back we've seen come out since B.J. Robinson easily. I know it's only a year.
Talk to me about Cameron Scatterbo because this is one of the better names. Yeah.
He looks fun. He looks like the type of player that would go to the 49ers and absolutely rip it apart because he's almost impossible to tackle. If you watch any of his highlights,
he's going to be Aaron Jones.
Yeah, if you watch any of his highlights, and again, he's playing college, so you take it with a pinch of salt. But people try and tackle him, and he just keeps going. And they try and tackle him again, he just keeps going. But he's also good as a pass catcher. Again, he was a lot of the offense for Arizona. I think they're saying he could go all the way down to the 3rd round.
I don't think he will.
I'll take a flyer and take him to the bottom of the 2nd at worst.
The other one I like is Trayvon Henderson.
I like him.
And again, he's going to be a late 2, early 3. But
do you know what? There are a lot of running backs this year. Like I think there's.
Could you see a run on them? I think people might wait.
Well, I think you could get 2. I think you'll get 2 in the 1st round. Gianti and Amari and Hampton will go in the 1st round. I think they're locks. And Caleb Johnson might sneak in there. But then I think rounds 2 and 3, I think you are going to see a run of running backs. Because all the way down to Trevor Etienne, Travis's brother, he's in the draft this year. He looks good. Jordan James, the Oregon running back.
Less brittle?
I would hope so. It's just there's so
He's
many.
more of a blocker than his brother as well. But yeah,
there's 2 at Ohio State. You mentioned Trevor and Henderson, Quishon Judkins as well. Judkins also looks really good. So I think you're going to see a lot of running backs in day 2. And
I liked him being described as violent.
I always think a running back should be violent.
Yeah. When I see that, I'm like, yes, that's the guy I want.
Yeah.
See, my running style was described as uncomfortable. You don't get many people compared to me.
Mine was just my teacher played a trombone. Just
running style, nil.
Running style, he tries.
So, we're quickly any wide receivers.
I really like Ted McMillan.
He's
Ted McMillan seems
far
to be
and away the best.
I think he is, but you hear so many people say that it's such a close class.
I'm not sure it is.
But
I think he's
Matt
the best.
Golden getting some hype.
Again,
Burden is the other. Yeah.
He's the one that's dropped like a stone. Like this time
Attitude
last year,
issues.
Luther Burden was brilliant. Igbuka, another Ohio State wide receiver. I think he could be still steal of the draft. Like if he goes day 2, that's an absolute steal. He should be day 1. But I really like Trey McMillan.
So who in 2024 had 60 receptions for over 1,000 yards, averaging 17.2 yards per catch with 7 touchdowns?
Don't know.
Trey Harris for Ole Miss. That is my sneaky wide receiver.
Oh, do you know who my sneaky wide receiver is? Jack Beck. TCU.
Yeah.
I think he's that kind of Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua type receiver that someone's going to pick up in day 3 potentially. Hopefully day 2. I think really, and you're going to get so much. Who was the one that went to the Chargers last year?
Lad McConkey.
Yeah,
Lad McConkey.
That type of player where suddenly he's not out of nowhere, but comes almost out of nowhere, and it's like, all right, suddenly he's your number 1.
I also found one of our players that Paul might draft just on name value alone, Elijah Badger. I'll be upset if he's not in your top 5.
It's just somebody from up north talking about a badger. Badger.
Badger.
But yeah, it's day. I think wide receiver wise, the class isn't brilliant. Day 2, I think you can get a lot of value.
Yeah.
On the flip side, tight ends, I think there could be 3 or 4 that go in the first round.
Yeah. So Tyler Warren is the number 1. Yeah. A bit of a yak monster, 6'6",
and can block.
Yeah, and same with Loveland as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, Colson Loveland from Michigan, he was brought up in that Jim Harbaugh, Michigan, where it was just all running. So yes, he can catch it, but those are both 2 well-rounded tight ends, and they're both huge.
Yeah, but yeah, there's also what's his face, Mason Taylor, maybe sort of getting round 1 projection.
He's the one that's probably on the cusp. Elijah, I'm going to try Arrow.
Is the dog back?
Elijah Arroyo,
yeah.
Easy for you to say. It's very rare.
If I can say that, fucking hell.
Yeah. Him and Mason Taylor on the edge. I really like Gunnar Helm, the Texas tight end. Like he's probably not going to go until day 3. But
so
Texas.
Offensive tackles, offensive line. Who's like Will Campbell.
The only knock is the slightly short wingspan.
So good technically, though.
Sorry?
Technically.
No. I think technically, in terms of everything he knows, as what like technically and mentally, by far the best, especially if you're looking for a left tackle, which everybody always is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the fella that I can't pronounce the name.
Membu.
That's him.
That's not that hard.
I think it's the first name.
Armand.
Yeah, I keep... Yeah, but combining the 2, I've not been able to do it. I'm just like, Armand.
Yeah.
But exactly, it sounds bad. But I think he's only half a step behind Campbell. I don't think the gap is very big.
No.
And I don't think there's any... I think Josh Simmons has had issues with injuries last year.
Yeah.
He would have been the leading tackling.
Is he the one with the knee injury?
Yeah.
You're right.
So someone's going to pick him up probably middle of the first round, and if he is fit, they're going to get a steal.
Brooks is the other one. Banks. It's gone out of my head now. There is a Brooks or a Banks.
Kelvin Banks.
Kelvin Banks. There you go.
There's a guard on this side.
I think he can move
play
out
anywhere along the line.
Move out to
Didn't he
tackle.
also play at centre in the?
Yes. Yeah, like
Senior
versatility is always useful on the offensive line.
and like he'll just start as well. Like he's compared to some of these guys.
Watching it from a Pat's perspective, people keep saying, "Oh, it's terrible because you're not going to get Hunter or Carter." So we need O-lineman, please.
Yeah, I actually think the Pats are in a good position for that.
He lacks arm length.
Yeah.
But some of the best people do, mate. It's fine.
What about Tate Radledge? Because a lot of my research...
What I love about this episode every year is Paul just throws out random names at me.
No, but a lot of college football, the game came out this year, and a lot of my research has come from players I
play against or with. Yeah, fair.
And Tate Radledge has, come from a great program in Georgia, and I appreciate he's a guard, but looks absolutely brilliant.
And he calls himself a dirtbag.
Yeah.
You just like throwing out random names, though, don't you?
No, but if you've got a guy who's played 844, has played over 1,000, nearly 2,000 snaps and has let 2 sacks go in 3 years, that's the kind of guy I want on my O-line.
Yeah. O-line is another position where you want to see players with violence.
Yeah. But, and there's one guy who, if you can't pronounce Armon Menbu, Erwonte Ursary is...
you've butchered that.
Erwonte Ursary is...
this is going to be my tactic now for our mock drafts, to find all the players that Griff can't pronounce.
Yeah. But, they're going to go early because there's so many O-line needy teams
There's
this
a
year.
lot of O-line needy teams. Should we talk defense?
Yes. So, on the edge, Abdul Carter is projected to be number 1 or 2 ranked player in the whole draft. Not far behind Jalen Walker.
Your top 10 should be.
Yeah. Any other edge rushers? Because once again, it's a position where people are needy. I think you could see 6 or 7 in the top first round.
Yeah, I think 7's a decent number. James Pierce had an amazing combine. I think it was something like 4.38, 40 from the edge. This is a guy that
Bare old, the edge.
6 foot, 6 foot, 6'5".
He was running in the name of love.
Jesus Christ.
I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Presumably he was running down the street with no name. Oh my God. Get me out of here.
I'm just gonna let
Have
him
some
go,
pride.
then we'll
Come
carry on.
We can do this all.
Oh, the sweetest thing.
You can't just say names of songs. Yourself vertigo.
Miss Sarajevo.
Anyway.
6'5", 245, and he ran a sub 440. I think that's pretty interesting. Speed is something that teams always go for. Shamir Stewart, Texas A&M, got all the traits, got all the athleticism. Again, 6'5", 267, but just didn't get any production in Texas A&M. So that's going to be, who was it that the Ravens took a couple of years back? A rusher who changed his name, and again looked amazing, but had no sacks, but turned out to be a decent player. Can't remember what it's called. Josh something.
I know exactly who you mean, but I can't think of his name either.
Brilliant.
Good podcast.
Defensive tackle though, again, really deep this year. Really deep. There's so many that you could pick from, and again, you could see 4 or 5 go in the first round.
Yeah.
Again, that's led by Mason Graham, who's, we were chatting earlier about all the mock drafts we're reading. He's the one that is almost nailed on to go to the Jaguars. Every mock draft has Mason Graham going to the Jaguars.
Not every mock draft.
Well, there's still ours to come.
Exactly. And I've got the Jags.
Oh, you're not going to pick Mason Graham?
I might not. Duval.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, God.
So, going back to edge rushers, Mike Green.
Yeah. My dad's called Mike Green.
Well, hopefully your dad...
Has he got incredible length? Can he set the edge?
Was he arrested for sexual assault or domestic violence charges whilst at Virginia?
Why do you think I'm here?
Because, Mike Green
Got some character issues.
has some character issues, so...
Nailed on Chiefs.
He was going to say, when does he join the Chiefs?
He'll go in the first round.
He will go in the first round, yeah.
Paul, I'd just like to point out, I'm really disappointed I never got to say we can do this podcast with or without you.
Oh, lemon.
Very good.
So, cornerbacks. We've got, once again, probably he's going to go in the top 4. Travis Hunter.
Top 4? Generous.
Well, I'm just saying,
Unless you're Morris Jones-Drew.
Yeah, unless you're Morris Jones-Drew, in which case he's, midway through the first round somehow.
That's a guy who's been hit in the head a lot.
Yeah. I quite like him on the commentary for Channel 5 and stuff, but his mock drafts are appalling.
Always out there. Yeah, it gives you a different opinion.
It does. But yeah, I think it's used for rage bait. Travis Hunter,
wide receiver, cornerback.
so he's a corner. I think he's predominantly a cornerback, but the fact that he can also be used as a wide receiver just makes him incredibly intriguing as a prospect.
I have a question. So, regardless of which side of the ball he predominantly ends up playing, from what little I understand, the defensive side requires more mental acclimatization.
Yep.
Whereas it's more instinctive on the offensive side. But regardless, the chances are whoever picks him, Browns, Giants, whatever, they're going to use him on both sides of the ball in different packages.
Yeah, probably.
How long before he is just injured? Because
we can say that about any player.
Yeah, but most players don't play both ways.
Yeah, he needs a decent situation because, yeah, he needs to be I think he's a cornerback who can help play a bit of wide receiver. He's not tall enough, I think, to be a starting wide receiver because. Yes, I think he's the same height as
6 foot
Devontae Smith, but Devontae Smith is a much better wide receiver. But as a cornerback, he is elite.
Just asking the question,
But yeah, he needs to be used properly so that they don't.
Teams get excited and they want to use their shiny new picks, and it just fills me with dread that he would just get worn out very quickly. Paul, is there anything you'd like to say about players playing both ways? Because you looked up at me as if to say, I remember Michael Sam. But do you?
I'm not that type of person. I'm not gonna go there. Thank you.
Just checking. I'd expect better on this podcast.
I'm sorry.
Even if you do move in mysterious ways. Right, moving on.
Jesus.
I can do this all
It's
day.
all right. It's all right.
We should have stopped at 1. Right. Come on, John.
Safeties.
Come on, you two.
So,
Nick Emanuori.
yeah.
Got that one right.
Yes, you did. And Malachi Starks as well.
Yeah.
Projected first rounders.
Like them both. I especially like Emanuori. Can't do it a second time. I think he could be something special. I think he's kind of that Brian Branch, Carl Hamilton. He's going to make an impact wherever he goes. I could see safety's always safety. I think is like the tight end of the defensive side. It's not rated.
Yeah.
So yes, I think 1 will go. Will 2 go? Maybe.
It'll.
But after that,
I don't know if this is the year that you might get people less concerned about value because they'll just pick the player they like the most.
This is what I was saying earlier. I really do think people are just going to say, right, this is the best guy we've got ranked.
There are 2 stars and there's 1 good quarterback.
Outside of the first 10 picks, everybody's boards are all over the place, I think.
I think outside the first 4
picks.
Yeah.
This is it. It's all going to be per need, per what fits with your coach.
Because even if you say that Shedeur Sanders goes in the top 4 or top 3, then that dictates what I think the Pats pick is. Because even if Carter or Hunter are there, I think the Pats take one of those 2.
I think they would just because they're outstanding.
And
prospects.
there is depth in the offensive line in the draft. They can pick up someone at the top of the second.
You'd be
round.
stupid not to take them if they're there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then again, I still think if you're the Browns or the Giants, you're overreaching to take Shedeur at 2 or 3 when there are best prospects. I actually don't think the Giants will do that. I
think there's more chance of the Browns doing it because there's more desperation.
I really hope the Browns don't do it, but they want anything to erase Deshaun Watson.
You've got Kenny Pickett.
Yes, he can. Do you know what? And they may well start Kenny Pickett this year.
Well, yeah, I think he will.
I think so. And I'm like, well, okay.
I don't even think that's a question. I think that's. Deshaun Watson, A, he's bad, and B,
he's injured.
He's injured, and C, he's a twat.
Yeah.
I don't mean that. I mean that flippantly, but I don't because apparently in the locker room, he's not a very good guy.
I think Kenny Pickett could be starting, and we probably haven't seen enough out of Kenny Pickett to completely write him off yet.
I mean, also, that wasn't a great Steelers team he went into.
It was a
wasn't.
poor team,
Yeah.
And he was the wrong player for it. They just picked him because he had to literally walk across the car park, I think.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see him get a go. Like if he gets 10 or 12 games as a Browns quarterback, you might see enough to think, okay, we haven't got to draft one next year.
Yeah.
Or you might see enough to think, right, next year we're picking a quarterback. But I'd rather see that than them sign Kirk Cousins for a year.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to see what that team does because there's still some pieces there.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry Jeudy.
It's a decent enough team that doesn't have a quarterback.
They got rid of Elijah Moore, and I was surprised by that.
Nick Chubb still hasn't been signed by anyone.
He'll get signed after the draft.
It'll be after the
Asante
draft.
Samuel.
Still hasn't been signed by anyone.
Insane.
There's some weird...
It's too
Well,
close to the draft
some of
now.
these players just not. They don't. What's the point of being signed now? It means you might have to go to OTAs, have the summer off, recover. Especially for someone like Nick Chubb. And so, anyone got any sort of steals or later picks that you think, oh, I'm looking forward to seeing where this guy can go?
Gave him mine.
There's a cornerback, Will Johnson.
Yeah.
First round, yeah.
I've seen him go lower than that.
No way he's going outside.
James Burnip.
But James Burnip, I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's the top-rated punter in the draft. What punters are people too?
Griff with the tallest dwarf award.
Okay, fine.
I think it's all mine are running backs. So yeah, but I think they will drop a bit. But
Mine was a wide receiver, Jack Beck.
the thing I'm looking,
Devin Neal.
I'm looking forward to the shoulda drop because I think he falls through that first round,
How far? What do you think's the lowest he goes to?
second round.
Not a chance.
No, I disagree.
You say that, but if people haven't got a big gap between him and Jackson Dart or Milroe or whoever,
I think if he goes past 25,
yeah,
someone trades back into the first again.
and that is entirely what I think.
That's
but
where Browns or Giants, if they
but-
picked him first, that's where they then go.
what happened to
Right.
Manziel? He fell all the way through to what? And the Browns traded back in at 22 or 23.
it's 23.
2024.
It's the same thing. I think he's going to drop. I like to see that. It's exciting to see who might trade up to grab him. I also think once he goes, you might get a run of people going, right, well, actually, we do need a quarterback to sit for a year. So once he goes, you might actually find it could be 4 that go in the first round, which would be ridiculous.
Won't happen.
But teams at the back end of the first round won't mind trading out to the second round.
I think it's a
There's logic. There is logic there.
Yeah.
Granted.
Fuck me.
I just-
20
But
past 10
I
at
just
night.
don't. Yeah.
I can see it. I can see it.
I think the only way people draft back into the second round is for Shador Sanders if he's fallen that far, or for Jackson Dart. I don't think any of the others warrant it.
Milroe?
No, they don't. But you might see the run. So if you get them at 30 and 31, then there could be one at like the first in the second round. I just think they might go because people will panic because they know that after the top 4 quarterbacks, the drop off or 5 quarterbacks, the drop off is fucking huge.
Oh yeah,
like
massive.
you're not going to get. I don't think this year there's no Russell Wilson in the 6th round or Tom Brady in the 6th. I don't think that exists.
Howard, mate. I mentioned him, but look, everyone you take for that past round, realistically, round 3 onwards, any quarterback you take is a proper hit and hope.
Yeah.
Like you're not taking a quarterback in round 3 for going right. He's going to be our starter next
There's
year.
a lot of teams that come this time next year don't have a decent starting quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those teams will want to get someone to start developing. The Giants, if they can get someone early in the second round, they will.
I think for me, I agree with you. I see where you're coming from. But to use a day 2 pick 2 or round 2 or round 3 on a player who is going to be your backup in a situation where you're probably coaching to keep your job, I think that's a waste. I think if you bring in,
Maybe.
you can get a lot. You should be getting a quality starter in round 2 and 3. I think.
I just don't think
Who has it?
I'm
Who
not
is
sure
gonna
that's there this
impact?
year. I'm not sure there's that
think-
many impactful players this year.
I think that there's depth in terms of starters, in terms of good rotational players. I don't think there's depth in terms of star talent. I think you've got the top 3, and even Cam Ward shouldn't really be in that. I think you've got top 2. And after that, you've got some good players, and after that, you've got some quality players who are going to be starting.
Yeah, it's other than the stars, like compared to last year, the 45th best player is quite comparable to the 45th best player last year. It's just because they're in not the star positions that you sort of we got last year, where Michael Penis Jr. and all these players.
We had so much fun with that.
I know.
Where would Cam Ward have been drafted last year? So 6 went in the first round last year. Would he been in the first round?
I think
last
he
year?
would have been in the first round.
I've seen him
behind the top 3. Like I said, I think Williams, Daniels, and Drake May would still be ahead of him.
I've
Maybe
seen him
be with Bo Nix.
Between Bo Nix and McCarthy.
Yeah.
So I've seen him.
I'm looking forward to seeing McCarthy play, because frankly, I've forgotten what he's like.
Well,
he threw about 4 passes in college.
I hope he works out for the Vikings, because that's a brave move that they've made.
the thing is, I trust the Vikings coaching there. So that is luckily. Can we just mention as well Desmond Watson?
You just want to shoehorn this guy in, don't you? You're gonna need a big fucking shoehorn.
Yes.
Oh God, yeah.
He's the 464-pound defensive tackle, and quite frankly, if the Green Bay Packers are so butthurt about the
I was going to say, if you want to stop the tush push,
get Desmond Watson. He is a tush push killer.
I'd bring him in and play him as fullback.
Fuck.
He
looks like late stage Eddie Lacy.
I mean, but he's like
feast mode.
He's like royal buffet mode.
Yeah. It's to just watch him run is incredible.
It's a fair point. I wonder if he could actually stop the tush push. I'm just going to sit. I'm literally going to sit here.
Yeah.
No, actually going to sit here. You've got to try and move me off the spot.
He's to watch him tackle as well. It's violent. It's great.
He'll be lucky if he gets picked in the 5th or 6th round. I'm not sure it's going to happen.
He'll get picked as because someone will think, well, we can get some time on TV here.
Yes.
Joe, the Cowboys.
I would like to see where one player goes and see if he's drafted at all. My nemesis in college football on the PlayStation, Dylan Gabriel.
Oh yeah,
from Oregon. He's
Oh, that guy, do you?
No,
I can see the hatred in your face.
It's deceiving.
Is he a cornerback by any chance?
He's the quarterback for.
Right.
He's the quarterback for Oregon. He's been around for a while. He's got some experience. But yeah, I'd be interested to see where he goes, because that man made me incredibly angry.
But that man will be undrafted.
Yeah. I think he's a predicted 4th rounder.
Okay.
But yeah, that means undrafted. So yeah, we'll leave it there because we're going to come back in 2 weeks and go through the first round mock, and then
our first round
mock, and then before you know it, it'll be all done, and we're looking forward to the new season. But yeah, until then, have a good couple of weeks, and we'll see you soon. Bye.